the social pariah turned messiah. I am the misfit that doesn't know when to quit. I am the man without a plan. And in case you haven't heard, I always, and I mean always, have the last word. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Last Word. It's me, your host, yours truly, your social pariah turned messiah, your misfit that doesn't know when to quit. Happy 2018. I am obviously back at my humble abode. Enjoyed my trip to the Netherlands, a much needed vacation, the first one I've taken in about 14 years. So yeah, it was fun. And I'm happy to be back. I wanted to get a couple videos out already, but you know how time in life and things happen. But I at least wanted to get this Royal Rumble prediction video up here before the weekend was out. I know on my Twitter, The Last Word 2016, I said it would be Monday. I was supposed to help do the basketball game for my university, as obviously you can see on my YouTube channel that there is the radio show that I've uploaded called It's All Geek to Me. It's the show I host every week at the college radio station, WSIN Radio, 1590 AM, or online at WSINradio.org. I have that ingrained into my head because I have to say that about every 8 minutes on the station. But we were supposed to do the basketball game today, but thankfully I didn't have to do that. So I'm home early and I'm able to put a video together. This isn't going to be anything fancy. This is just my predictions for what's going to happen here at the Royal Rumble. And we have a doozy this year. Quite a few good matches. I'm going to save the Rumbles for later, so I'm going to do the singles matches. Now, right now, from what I see here, we don't have a match scheduled yet between Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the Rumble match, because the Royal Rumble, aside from setting up who's going to be main eventing WrestleMania, is also to further rekindle or start rivalries going into the Mania season and into the summer. So I think, I'll just say it now, I think with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, obviously they're going to get into each other's grill during the Rumble. They're going to end up taking each other out, or something's going to happen where they're going to get pissed at each other, or one will get eliminated. Likely you'll see Bray Wyatt get eliminated because he's, probably the most high-profile jobber in the WWE right now, unfortunately, which is why I'm liking this feud, because there's so much potential. I want to talk about that, but I'm going to try not to, maybe at the end of this video, if this one runs short. But I have a hunch either Woken Matt Hardy will eliminate Bray, or Bray will get eliminated because of Woken Matt Hardy, and then Bray will come in and cost Matt Hardy the match, and then they'll fight outside, and this will lead into hopefully a nice match at Mania. If not at, Elimination Chambers, the pay-per-view before Mania, that's now a Raw exclusive this year, which plays into why I think who's going to win the Rumble will win. But the other match I don't see scheduled yet, from what I can see here. Actually, never mind. Yes, it is scheduled. I was going to say the United States Champion. It looks like the tournament final is going to be at the Royal Rumble, which to me it's going to be Bobby Roode versus whoever. I'm expecting Bobby versus Baron Corbin. I'm not sure if we'll get that. I kind of don't want that because I'd like to see Bobby versus someone else. Since I've just mentioned that, with that U.S. title match, what my thought is Bobby Roode's going to win that. He's going to be ready to be crowned champion. Dolph's music will hit, or some new music. Maybe they're repackaging Dolph slightly. But Dolph will come out. I still think he'll be a full-on heel. Dolph will come out and basically, give some spiel about how do you like to have everything you've dreamt of taken away. I'm taking my title back, blah, blah, blah. And there's going to be some kind of blow-off match either on SmackDown or at WrestleMania between the winner of the tournament and Dolph Ziggler. I like Bobby Roode a lot, but I like him as a heel better. He, I think, feels more natural as a heel, but he's coming along, and I think he's doing good over the last few weeks. I want him with the belt. I want him to get the publicity and the recognition to kind of get over more with the more casual fans. The more moderate to hardcore fans know of him in TNA, as well as obviously NXT, which is where I've seen more of him. So I know what Bobby can do, and with that match, obviously I think it's going to probably be Bobby and Baron, and then Dolph will come out and piss in everybody's punch. So I expect there to be Bobby Roode to win, and then I expect Dolph to come out and take the belt, and then that leads into some kind of feud or a match going into Mania. So that's the U.S. title out of the way. So I'm going to talk about next here, obviously, to coincide with that will be the Intercontinental Champion, which is going to be Roman Reigns versus The Miz. But what I think is going to happen is the current... again, this isn't officially a match yet, but the go-home show is supposed to have The Miz and Roman have their rematch. I don't think that match is going to have either a clean finish or is going to have a proper finish, and this will boil over to a Royal Rumble match. Current plans, at least from what I can see, and yeah, I know there was the image of my boy. I wish this was real. There was the image of Braun with the belt going into Elimination Chamber. It's not happening. I'm sorry. I'll get into that match too. There's a reason Kane is in that match. It's so Braun can look good and not eat the loss. But WWE still has their heart set on doing the match with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I think Roman is doing a lot better in his current role. I think being kind of the upper mid-card guy. I don't want him with the belt. I don't want him necessarily in the main event scene. I'm loving the stuff they're doing with Jason Jordan right now. But I think Miz will get the belt. And unless they do something going into the, we have 2 weeks left here. Today's the 13th as I'm filming, so we have the 15th and the 22nd, because the 28th is the Royal Rumble. So we have 2 weeks left, so a lot of things are subject to change. But I think what will happen at the Rumble is if they don't pull the trigger on Jason Jordan and they all blown up with what they're doing there early, I think Jordan's going to try to be overzealous and help in the Rumble and cost Roman the match, or the Miz Taraj, or the Miz won't win clean. I mean, it's obviously Roman's their golden child. To their credit, they've let Braun beat the snot out of him, which has been probably some of the best matches last year in 2017. So, and Roman's improved. He's a lot better now that he's not... It's kind of, they dialed back the make him Cena 2.0 stuff. He's not out there saying suckering succotash, and he's still awful on the mic. He still can't cut a promo for shit. That's evident when he's in the ring with Jason Jordan, who just looks like a goofy, baby face, even though they're making him a heel. But Miz will win. It's not going to be clean. Either Jason Jordan will screw up or accidentally, or something happens and he turns on the Shield. It really depends on what they set up in the next 2 weeks, and from there, either that or the Maurice will interfere, the Miz Taraj will interfere. Miz is going into Mania, or at least into the Elimination Chamber, with the Intercontinental title. What happens after that, I'm not sure, but we'll see there. But again, I'm going to go with the Miz winning the Intercontinental Champion, and United States Champion, I think, is going to be Bobby Roode. And the other guy I forgot that's in the United States Champion tournament is Jinder Mahal. I don't want him either. I'm sorry. Yeah, you forced him into the main event scene because of your deal in India, and then that deal didn't even happen the way it was supposed to. So you wasted several months of everybody's time with him as champion. So it could be back knee in the finals. Jinder Mahal. And again, Jinder's not a bad wrestler, so credit is due where it's due. But I still say Bobby Roode. So I got to go back to that one. It may be Bobby versus Jinder in the finals, but it's going to be Bobby. And then obviously Dolph's going to show up and do his thing and raise hell. So I'm looking forward to that match just because I want to see if my prediction with Dolph is true, or if I eat my words in the next 2 weeks and Dolph shows up over the next 2 weeks on SmackDown to screw the whole tournament up. But I mean, honestly, it's going to be a contested UC title going into Mania. So if the WWE plays your cards right, or you can have a series. Starting on SmackDown, matches where there are no contest, somebody gets disqualified, count out, and then you have the blow-off match at Mania. Because there's no SmackDown pay-per-view to my knowledge. I haven't checked the calendar, so probably should have did that before recording, but hey. So again, Miz will win, not clean. And U.S. title, it's going to be Roode. And then somewhere along the way, what the hell's his name again? Dolph Ziggler is going to, I was going to say, not Shawn Michaels. Dolph Ziggler is going to show up and screw things up and, make this a contested champion. And don't get me wrong, Dolph versus The Miz in 2016 was an amazing rivalry. Dolph is fantastic. His whiny character doesn't do anything for me. But I think it's still at least a step up from the lovable loser persona. But now that we got the 2 secondary titles that everybody gives a shit about out of the way, let's talk about the third secondary title that no one cares about because no one watches the damn show. And that's the Cruiserweight Championship. Again, I myself cannot get into 205 Live. It's not even that wrestling talent. I love Jack Gallagher. Cedric Alexander's great. Enzo, personality-wise, is great, and his in-ring skills are coming along. It's just you don't let them wrestle like cruiserweights. Now, I don't need the stupid, goofy story that they do on Lucha Underground, which, I think I got that right. I couldn't get into the Lucha show. We're symbolic of these Aztec tribes. I'm like, just shut up and wrestle. You can have campy characters. Just, what the hell is this bullshit backstory? And again, that might be a cultural thing. So if it is, I'm not knocking that. I just doesn't do anything for me. And I think obviously it might not be tailored to somebody like me. So those that like it, like it. I don't have a problem with you liking it. I just couldn't get into the whole Lucha Underground thing. Some decent wrestling, just the whole presentation aspect of it just did nothing. But I would like to see that kind of wrestling in the Cruiserweight division. Actual flips, jumps, locks, holds, technical wrestling, which is really what Cruiserweight should be. High-flying and technical. We don't really get a lot of that. But the match itself in Royal Rumble is the champion, who is Enzo Amore, and Cedric Alexander, who took the place... wait, is it still Cedric? I thought Cedric got fired. Nope, that's right. That was Rick Swann. Oh god, that sounds so racist. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. That was... It has nothing to do with the fact they're both black, okay? It has to do with the fact that 90% of the faces in 205 Live are interchangeable with each other, have very little distinctive personality, and can just be slotted out for anyone else. No one cares. I actually really did. I liked Rick Swann. I don't like what happened. I'm distancing myself from that. I just want him and his family, everybody to get help that they need, and for him to just get his life in order. Cedric Alexander does nothing for me as a wrestler. He's boring to me. He's not bad in the ring. I did enjoy... no, that was even Rick Swann. I was going to say his teaming up with No Way Jose. So yes, I would prefer it if this was Rick Swann. But I don't... Either way, this to me is a transitional match leading to something bigger potentially at Mania. Enzo's winning that match. I don't see them putting the belt on Cedric unless they do like they did with... Sin Cara or Callisto, when they put the belt on him for a week. But Enzo is the big draw right now in 205 Live. He's the moneymaker for the program. So I don't see the belt coming off him just yet. I could see the belt coming off at Mania. Unless they're going to do some like double turn where Enzo goes back to being a face, but they're not really setting that up. And the writing's not that strong to pull that off, so... out of the blue with what they have for writing. So, yeah, I think Enzo will end up losing to somebody at Mania, potentially. I would rather see him lose to somebody like Drew Gulak. I don't know, maybe give Jack Gallagher something to do? Mustafa Ali? I mean, there are talented guys. See, I know some of them. I like Mustafa Ali. I like Noam Dar. I like Drew Gulak. I love Jack Gallagher. The male Mary Poppins thing is probably the funniest damn thing ever. I absolutely love the gimmick. Enzo I like, for the most part, other than he talks way too damn much. But yeah, this is your piss break match, at least to me, unless this ends up getting relegated on the pre-show. But it's going to be Enzo. He'll probably poke him in the eye and then hit the eat the feet, or the just Enzo, whatever he calls it, the stupid... That finisher is stupid! It's dumber than Joey Ryan's dick freaking toss, okay? It's literally you just grab the guy's head, put your foot up, and fall down. And I get it, Enzo doesn't have the best in-ring skills, but I think the dude could do better than that. And it's cruiserweights. There should be some kind of, sunset flip powerbomb. Something cool. Not something that I, with no athleticism, could potentially pull off relatively easily. And God, I'm done with my rant. But this could be a good match. Because Cedric's not bad in the ring. This is the piss break match to me for the night. You gotta have one because you have both the men and the women having a Rumble match. So this is going to be interesting. And next we'll talk about here the 2 tag team titles. And then we'll do the main titles for each show, and then we'll get into the Rumble matches. So the Raw tag team, it's going to be Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus The Bar. I think The Bar will get the win. They are setting something up here with Jason Jordan being completely detested by both Seth Rollins and Roman, and it's been great. I mean, it's one of the highlights on Raw the last few weeks, along with what happened last week with Braun Strowman tearing down the entire damn arena. But I think Jason Jordan is being built to be this little conniving heel. Conniving in a good way, because you see him going to Dad and getting these title rematches, getting these stuck into the Shield. And I don't know what direction they're going, but I almost feel like they're going to where eventually Kurt's going to catch on, and they're going to have a match or a feud at some point. Like, I need to teach my kid a lesson. Or maybe we see heel Kurt, which Kurt can do heel or face. He's did it throughout the years in the WWE, so that's not a problem. And maybe they team up together. I don't know. But Jason Jordan, I mean, they could even go a different route. It could be that Seth costs the match. And that fuels Jason thinking he's better than the Shield and getting frustrated and going to Kurt. So obviously the Shield isn't winning. If it was Dean Ambrose and he wasn't injured, I would say the Shield. Although the original rumor was in early 2018, Dean was going to go heel and break up the Shield. I think they should do that with Roman, but whatever. They just, forcing teams back together for the sake of nostalgia kind of doesn't make any sense to me. I liked it when it was just Rollins and Ambrose because it felt like, hey, we have a common goal. Roman was, I can't get over no matter what they write and do for me, so stick me back with the Shield so I can get over. And it's worked a bit because I don't hate Roman as much as I used to. I've seen a lot. I mean, let's be honest, he's gotten better. He still sucks on the mic. Excuse me here, but he's been phenomenal in the ring. Okay, better in the ring. Only one guy's been phenomenal in the ring, and that's AJ Styles. After all, he's the phenomenal one. Bad jokes aside. But the Raw tag match is just a straight up normal match. And I'm going to say it's going to be The Bar. Now, what I think the Bar winning is going to lead into is the Balor Club getting the belts. I love this. It's the Bullet Club without the legal issues. They can just call it the Balor Club. So kudos to the WWE there. I mean, let's step back from Royal Rumble for a second here. It's 2018. We have a variation of Broken Matt Hardy in the WWE. Woken, same character, just different names, so Matt can retain the Broken trademark and Broken gimmick for when his career's done in the WWE again. And we have the Bullet Club in the WWE. Dude, that's freaking awesome. So you have all this there, WWE creative. Don't screw it up. And you even have the potential of putting Bray Wyatt with Woken Matt Hardy. You can have like a Woken or Broken Bray Wyatt with Woken Matt Hardy and just have this complete screwball, theatrical, amazing thing going with the two of them. And then whenever Jeff Hardy's healthy, I don't know how they're going to integrate Brother Nero. Or just Nero, so they'll probably drop the brother thing so he can keep Brother Nero when he's out. But obviously that's going to at some point be part of it or worked into it somehow. But I got sidetracked. But yeah, going back to the Rumble. Bar will win, and then you can see the Balor Club feuding with the Bar, and then there'll be a match there at Mania, and the Good Brothers will actually win a freaking belt and be booked strong, finally, hopefully. SmackDown, we have a 2 out of 3 falls match between the Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, or American Beta. Can I ask something? What was the point of breaking up American Alpha? It could have easily have been Jason Jordan and Chad Gable fighting against the Usos in a 2 out of 3. Okay, and Shelton Benjamin has a bit more charisma than Jason Jordan, and certainly Chad Gable, because Gable, great in-ring skills, just at least from what I've seen, and admittedly I haven't seen a lot of SmackDown or Raw the last 2 weeks, just because of the holidays and everything else going on. But I haven't seen anything that makes me think Gable is all that, like, impressive on the mic or anything. And again, I could be wrong. I didn't see a lot of them in NXT. So, but I just don't understand what was the point in breaking him up and just putting him in another tag team with the same basic concept all over again. But I think the Usos are winning this. This will go 3 falls. The Usos will get one early. Like probably, cheating, doing the blind tag. The thing they've done in the past where they tag each other in, the other team doesn't know, and then they do the finisher to the one guy, and then the other Uso comes in and does the finisher to that guy, and then they get the pin. But it's going to go back and forth. I figured the Usos will get the first pin, and then the American Beta will get the second pin. And I don't know how it'll finish, but I think the Usos will retain. This one can go either way, though, because I could see a new program with American Beta. Who are they going to feud with? I mean, you still got Breezango as kind of a goofball act, which is fine, but you could still put the titles on them. Unless you're going to call up somebody from NXT to be a prominent tag team, or put the belts on the New Day for the millionth time, I don't see this feud going away just yet. Usos will win here, and I think maybe you'll have another match at Mania, and then the New Day or whomever, the Bludgeon Brothers. Again, both guys are talented, but that gimmick is so dumb. But I'm okay with that. It is funny with the rubber mallets and pretending they're badasses. I can roll with that. I used to like the Berserker back in the day, when the WWE was still cornball, pre-Attitude Era, the Berserker was a really goofy gimmick. Not the worst, and you'll have to tune into my series of great moments and bad gimmicks, whenever the hell I get that uploaded, to see kind of what the worst ideas, or the best of the worst, or worst of the worst gimmicks out there were. And again, it's not gonna be a 1,000 video series. It's not gonna be a ranked number 50 through 1. These are just ones I come across and I'll talk about and give some history on when that time comes. I do have one of those coming. Want to have that up before Rumble. And speaking of Rumble, I will have an announcement at the end of this video for you. But again, Usos will take the first and the third fall to retain. I don't know if this is the blow-off, if this is going to continue into Mania, because outside of the New Day, I don't see who else can really be taken seriously on SmackDown right now as a tag team threat. Now that I got the tag titles out of the way, and we got the secondary titles out of the way, before I get to the 2 Rumble matches, which it sounds like I'm going to spend forever talking on, I'm not, are your main titles. So I'll do the Raw one first. Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman versus Kane. As I said earlier, that picture that was floating around for Elimination Chamber with Braun with that belt over his shoulder is, unfortunately, fake. Now, they could pull the trigger, maybe just make Brock and Roman a non-title match. I still think Elimination Chamber, somehow Roman's going to win and get that title match, which will play into why I think who's going to win the Rumble. But Brock is going to win. Braun is not eating a pin. They're not going to have Braun eat the pin twice to Brock. Braun will be dominant. Kane will get in the way every time Braun goes to get a pin. Eventually, you're going to see Brock and Kane double team Braun. You'll have a lot of double teams going back and forth. This, I don't think, will be a really long match, because, let's just be honest, Brock doesn't do long matches. But I honestly think we're going to have a very high-impact match. And what will eventually happen here is you'll have Kane will be down outside or something, and Brock will try to hit an F5 or hit something. Braun will counter. Braun will turn around and hit the running power slam. And as he gets ready to go for the pin, Kane will come in and either choke slam him or knock him out of the ring to take him out for a minute. And in the meantime, as Kane's doing that, Brock will get up and then either do Suplex City or the F5 and pin Kane. So I think Kane is solely there to eat the pin. This way, Braun didn't lose. Braun doesn't lose any momentum. Braun stays over with the fans. Brock won, so Brock looks strong, and thus will make Roman look stronger going into whenever the hell they meet in Mania. I'm still hoping they pull the plug on that, because We've known about it since last year's Mania when it was leaked. And obviously most people aren't into it. But I think the second time around of Roman and Brock fighting could be better because Roman is a much better competitor now than he was a couple years ago. But yeah, Brock's winning. He's going to pin Kane. I mean, this is kind of obvious. I don't see Braun eating the pin, and unfortunately, I don't see Braun winning the belt just yet. And then we have the mess of a match going on over on the SmackDown brand, the WWE Championship. This one is AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match. Now, I think this match is a front, because what this is really setting up is Shane versus Daniel Bryan in some capacity. I don't think they'll clear Daniel to wrestle. A lot of reports are showing that Daniel's ready to just walk away when his contract's up, which is, I believe, later this year. Daniel supposedly has been cleared by pretty much every medical doctor except the WWE one. And what it comes down to is WWE is in the midst of a class action lawsuit for improper health treatment and that kind of stuff. So basically wrestlers that later on in life have concussion issues and everything else are now saying it's their fault. The same way the football players are doing it. To me, it's yes and no. You know damn well what you're getting into going into the field you're going into. You're being paid money to be violently bashed into each other, especially football. You knew damn well what you were getting into. Maybe not the extent of the damage that was being done to you, but no, you can't sit there at 45 and, well, I've had too many concussions and now I'm kind of messed up. You were a linebacker, defensive lineman, you're whatever position, you were paid to run into people or not get hit by people depending on your position. Not going to get into it because it's not the point of this video, but the CTE stuff's a little different. I think that's a different story with football, and that's maybe a discussion for another time, or maybe a discussion for my radio show when that starts back up in a couple weeks. So we'll see if that happens. But WWE side, they're similar situation. Concussions, knee injuries, leg injuries, all things that are common risk that come with the territory of being a professional wrestler. And the other issue is they're all technically contracted employees, so they got to get their own insurance. As much as I'm kind of on the fence with unions, I think they're a necessary evil. I think if you're more talented and a better draw, you should make more than the other guy, which doesn't happen with a union. So that's my reason I'm not for it. But I understand the concept behind it that these guys should be being provided with insurance, some kind of medical benefits and so on. And the WWE has to their credit, great doctors and stuff and medical staff. And again, I don't know if they're still considered private contractors. I just know how it was in the 90s and so on, even way back when. And I'm assuming it's the same today. Because I can't imagine the indie promotions affording healthcare for every guy that comes and goes. But there's been a class action as far as they didn't get proper treatment or benefits and so on. So I think the WWE is scared to clear Daniel Bryan, because if he gets knocked stupid and has a concussion and something serious happens to him, that's going to basically make whatever defense they have as far as their product being safe or they're providing ample medical access and so on look like horse crap. So I think that's the big issue here, is I think they're afraid to clear Daniel Bryan based on the class action lawsuit that's been kind of in the background for the last couple years. I could be wrong. I don't know everything, and I haven't really I haven't talked to anybody in the industry to confirm that's the reason why. Triple H was on Twitter recently going on about how great the medical staff is, but he's also married to the daughter of the owner, and he's chief operating officer or something like that. One of those C-O positions. I think he is COO, so chief operating officer. So he's got to defend the company, and I understand both sides. I want to see Daniel versus Shane. I think it would be entertaining. But circling back around to the match I meant to talk about here, which is the 2-on-1, this is really there to set up to continue, really solidify the feud between Shane and Daniel. As much as I don't like when the management becomes the focus point of the wrestling promotion, like every time it became about Stephanie McMahon and the Authority versus the actual freaking wrestlers, we're kind of having the same thing on SmackDown, but this one's been enjoyable. Because Shane gets in the ring, Shane can hold his own for the most part, And we all know Daniel Bryan can hold his own. And now you have these three guys in the middle of it. And the reason I'm talking about this setting up a feud, I think this will end up in some kind of bizarre finish. Last week on SmackDown, we had a 3-on-2, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens kept trying to get themselves counted out, disqualified, and whatever. And Shane kept saying no. I think we're going to have something similar happen during the match. In the middle of it, something will happen. There'll be a disqualification. Daniel will come out and say it's a no DQ. And then Shane will come out and argue. I think someone's going to interfere, which is going to cost the match. Given who I think is going to win the Rumble, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be AJ Styles retaining. And my two thoughts here are either Sammy and Kevin are going to get into it over who gets to be champion. Even though right now they're running with this co-champion thing, I don't see that actually happening. Or alternately, Shane McMahon is going to get directly involved in the match and cost Sammy and Kevin the match, and which will then cause Daniel Bryan to come out and attack Shane, which is, to me, the more likely scenario. But much like the other championship belt, I think both retain, so I think it's going to be Brock retaining, and I think it's going to be AJ retaining. The AJ Owens and Sammy match should be a freaking really good match. I'm looking forward to it. That leads us into the Rumble. And I'll go with the men's first. Really simple. No Raw guys winning the Royal Rumble for men. And here's why. We already know what the main event's going to be at Mania as far as Raw. They've said this for the last year, and I've said it a couple times now in this video. It's Brock and it's Roman. I don't know why I did that. That's why I think Brock's retaining, because you don't really want your big event to not involve a belt for the most part. So again, that eliminates anybody from the Raw brand. And that leaves me two potential guys that I can see winning the belt. And that's a belt, yes, eventually, but I think winning the Rumble. And that is Bobby Roode or Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, why am I saying not Randy Orton? Because everybody hated the fact that Randy Orton won last year, and the only reason it worked was because Roman came out right before him, and Roman didn't win. So you put out the guy that everybody hates even more winning to make the guy that you know the fans are going to hate winning not as bad. We're not having that this year. I don't think they know what to do with Randy Orton right now. I don't think Randy Orton knows what to do with Randy Orton. He's an in-betweener, which doesn't work. He is boring to me regardless. He's good in the ring, other than I hate how overprotected the RKO is. But Randy, personality-wise, is slightly better when he's a heel. He had fun with Bray, but dear God, he's boring to me. And that's my opinion. So if you disagree, cool. You can tell me why he's great in the comments. I don't mind. But no Randy Orton. I don't think they're going to do that 2 years in a row. I don't see... they're talking about Undertaker showing up in the Rumble. I don't see that, but I also could see that because we don't know if he's going to have an event this year at Mania. A match. Supposedly, they're talking Cena and Taker. I don't, because you can't have Taker lose 3 WrestleMania matches now, because otherwise his streak means nothing. It already means nothing because you had him lose twice. And how he doesn't need to put Cena over because Cena is already the face of the company. I understand why he had to put Roman over, because you keep insisting that we all root for Roman when people don't want to. If you just chilled out and let Roman naturally develop, which you've done a little bit this year, people come around a bit. You're either going to like him or hate him. I like the person. I just don't like the character, so I'm not a Roman fan. And I differentiate that because I think fans forget to disconnect the character they're playing from the human being. But and this isn't just wrestling. This is a lot of the athlete, the person from the athlete, the character from the actor, and that kind of thing. But I said AJ's retaining, and my thought why is the WWE has fully acknowledged they screwed up / ruined Shinsuke Nakamura's debut. You put him in just honestly shit matches. His first pay-per-view match, first match with Dolph sucked. And it's not on Shinsuke. You're putting him with guys that don't know how to wrestle his style. His match with Baron Corbin was a little better, but still meh. So you've completely screwed up debuting this guy. He's world champion material. Your biggest competition right now is New Japan, and thankfully there seems like there's going to be potentially good working terms there. But your biggest way to draw those fans, aka the Japanese and the Asian market, would be maybe a high-profile Asian wrestler. And I'm not talking about doing the Jinder Mahal thing where you just put a belt on the guy because you're touring in an area, or you just signed a deal and you're trying to get more out of it. Your main competition is a particular part of the world with a particular people bracket. You want to appeal to those people. And, okay, I'm a weeaboo. So you want to appeal to my type, too. They screwed up Shinsuke. I think this is a great way to redeem the character and showcase him. Have him do well in the Rumble. You already put Braun in the title match to keep Braun out of the Rumble, because if Braun wasn't in that, if that wasn't a three-way match, I would have said Braun Strowman. But, obviously, Braun's preoccupied. I don't see anybody else being a major thing. I think Roman will probably show up in the Rumble. I mean, you'll have all those guys come out, the Shield, the healthy guys. So Roman and Seth will probably be in the Rumble. Randy Orton will be in there. Bobby Roode will be in there. Baron Corbin will be in there. Maybe Dolph. I'm sure you'll have a couple surprise veterans just for, nostalgia. I don't have a prediction for who's going to show up for the Rumble. At least not for the men, because anything goes. I don't know, maybe we'll have the Godfather again. I saw him live a few months back when he was doing a local show here. And yeah, the dude's old, but it was still fun as hell to watch him come out, to the music with the ladies and do the whole thing. Same thing with Jerry Lawler. He was a lot of fun. I don't expect either of them actually to be in the Rumble, but I wouldn't be mad if the Godfather showed up. There are more than 30 male athletes on the roster between the two shows where they can staff it without having a bunch of just people to be there just to fill eliminations. But I think Shinsuke's going to win. Like I said, the other guy I could see winning would be Bobby Roode, but I think he's going to end up being in a feud for either as the UC champion, USC champion, United States champion, US champion, thank you. But I could see if that doesn't go the way I think it's going to go, I could see Bobby also getting a proper push, because Triple H is big on him, and Triple H kind of runs SmackDown more or less. But I think this is going to be the opportunity to showcase Shinsuke, make him look strong and dominant. I figured he'll come in middle, maybe like the top in the first 10 or 12. He'll have a good 7 to 10 eliminations, look strong. It'll be a wild one where maybe he does, flips a guy over, a guy goes to clothesline him and he ends up just kind of flipping the guy over him, or, potentially countering a clothesline or any kind of move into an exploder suplex over the rope to eliminate the final competitor to become the Royal Rumble winner. And I say this because I expect the SmackDown main event to be the one that all of us, all hardcore / middle ground fans have been dying for since they both have been on the SmackDown roster, which is Shinsuke versus AJ. The two have, I believe, wrestled with each other in New Japan, or at least are familiar with each other. On SmackDown, they both have kind of paid respects for each other, and I think this is a good way to have a great rivalry. You can build it up over the few weeks on SmackDown Live, going into Mania, and then I think Shinsuke will come up with the belt. I don't know how long his title reign will be. This is also wishful thinking on my part, because the WWE has not always done well with minority wrestlers as champion, unless you're Samoan, or from that, I forget the family name, but the same lineage The Rock, the Usos, and all of them are from. They seem to do well. And I think it's more of just Vince, that they're familiar with each other. But I'm on board with that. I want Shinsuke with the belt, as much as I like AJ. I ultimately just want a good match either way. So that's my take why I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win the Men's Royal Rumble and have a strong performance to boot, because they completely screwed the pooch in debuting him, and he's too high profile to kind of leave sitting there in stagnation, and this is a great way to introduce the casual fan to exactly who he is and what he can do. Now, the Women's Rumble, simply put, Asuka. She is the most talented female wrestler in the WWE right now. I'm not concerned. I'm just thinking, because there's been negotiations with Ronda Rousey. There's been rumors of the 4 horsewomen of the UFC and the 4 horsewomen in the WWE having a match at Mania, which I'm on board with. I just don't do the Lawrence Taylor treatment where you make your guys look bad to put the athlete or the celebrity over. Although, honestly, it's Ronda Rousey. But I don't think they're going to want Asuka losing just yet. So I don't know if she'll be in the Rumble, which is why my initial thought is Asuka's winning. But I could see Asuka getting the belt before the Royal Rumble. We have 2 weeks to go. And she's had some matches and confrontations with Alexa Bliss before over the last week or so. I could see them having an actual title match before Royal Rumble and Asuka winning. So this way Asuka doesn't take an elimination or look bad. But I don't know who they'll push on SmackDown side. So my other thought is SmackDown men are winning the Men's Rumble, which to me means a Raw woman is going to win the Women's Rumble. But I also think for some surprise contestants, any one of these 4 MMA ladies can get in there, because the Royal Rumble matches aren't a lot of actual wrestling moves. The women can all do a slam. You do that in UFC anyways. Now, obviously, punch and kick, and learning how to take, flip over the ropes or take a clothesline isn't going to take them years of training. But I think we're going to have those. I don't know all 4 women. Ronda Rousey's the one I know. I'm not a giant UFC guy. I do like Ronda Rousey. It was fun getting a chance to see her when she competed until she got basically kicked upside the face and didn't get up, which sucks because there was a promising career there, and I think she got a glass jaw. So, and she could still kick my ass 7 ways from Sunday. So I'm not knocking her. She's awesome. All those women are, even the guys. I wouldn't mind seeing Conor McGregor get into a WWE ring because he talks a lot of shit, and I'd love to see one of the WWE guys freaking put him through a table. But that's just me. I also wouldn't mind seeing him hold his own. But on the condition that Asuka isn't the champion going into the Rumble, I'm saying Asuka is going to win the Royal Rumble for the women. And I have a weird, because there's not a woman, there's, at least yet, I don't see either women defending their championship at the Rumble. So other than they'll probably be, both champions will be out watching the Rumble. So either Charlotte and Alexa or Charlotte and Asuka. I could see Carmella, for a weird reason that I'll get to in a second. If Asuka is somehow champion, I could see by some weird circumstance Carmella wins the Rumble. Don't look at me like that. There's logic to what I'm saying. I know I've done a lot of rambling in this video, but there's logic to what I'm saying right now. Carmella still has the Money in the Bank, and to my knowledge, she hasn't cashed it in yet. I believe you can only cash it in up until WrestleMania. So my thought, if Asuka's not in the Rumble and Asuka's already the champion, is Carmella somehow wins the Rumble, gets to WrestleMania, has her guaranteed match, comes out with the Money in the Bank, gets beat by Charlotte, turns around and clocks Charlotte with the Money in the Bank briefcase, cashes it in, and then pins Charlotte and wins anyways. So Charlotte can still look good as the main lead for the women on SmackDown by winning her match, and then Carmella cashes in, and Carmella looks good / strong heel by just clocking her upside the head with the briefcase and cashing in and winning the title. That's my other thought. Alternately, I don't know what direction they're going with the women's division on SmackDown, so you could see Carmella insert herself in whatever match. The typical thing. Like we had last year, I think was it at Mania or one of the, when Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank, and he cashed it in that night. And it was against Seth Rollins, if I recall. So I could see Carmella just doing that too. Like the champion's beat up, tired. She comes out, clocks the champion, cashes in, and pins the champion after champion wins. But If it's not Asuka, I could see them doing some shenanigans with Charlotte. Well, yeah, with Carmella. Now, rumor has it James Ellsworth is going to be back for the Rumble. So who knows what they do there. And to be fair, it probably won't fly as well this day and age. But the funniest thing to me was Santina Marella. When Santino would go and drag and claim to be his twin sister. Justina Ellsworth would be hilarious, okay? I don't want it to happen because I do want the women's game is a bit different now. These women definitely deserve more respect than, I don't know, a guy winning the first women's Money in the Bank match. But hey, I still be funny just to watch Ellsworth try to win the women's title and still get his ass handed to him. I like the guy. He's fun on Twitter, but it would be a fun thing to do. And now the women, there aren't 30 women on both rosters. So again, I think you're going to have at least 2 or 4 of the UFC ladies in the match. You could see maybe somebody like Beth Phoenix make a one-time appearance. Lita. Maybe Trish Stratus. Maybe Ember Moon, or at least somebody. I mean, you have Ruby Riott and her group, and then the other group on Raw. So, I mean, obviously, they may show up in the Rumble. Any NXT call up, so I think you could see oh my god, what's their names? The lesbian couple, for lack of a better word. Let me look that up here for you guys. Let's try it again. I feel stupid for forgetting their name. Peyton Royce. There you go. Was it Peyton and... she comes out with... That's right. Peyton and Billy. I can see coming out together. Alternately, because she's my waifu, I take Asuka too. I mean, they're both gorgeous. Along with Alexa, there's plenty of beautiful women, and I don't mean that in a piggish way. I'm just admiring their beauty. I would love to see Kairi Sane debut, not permanently, because I think she needs time to develop her character for the American audiences in NXT, but she was a recent signing. I would love to see Kairi Sane do her full-on pirate entrance and come out in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be awesome. But again, I could see Peyton Royce and Billie Kay coming up, maybe not permanently, but just as part of the Rumble. Kind of the same way you had Ty Dillinger show up in the Rumble, and then a couple months later on the main roster. So you will see a few NXT women showcase on the match. And not for nothing, Kairi Sane getting into it with Asuka would be awesome. I don't know if they really have a history in New Japan. I'm sure they've met or competed. But I think that could be a future great feud in wrestling, in WWE in particular, in this case, going down the road. But again, my pick is Asuka if she's not already champion. And again, Carmella, so she can just have shenanigans if Asuka's champion. But I believe I covered all the known matches so far. And again, asterisk here, known matches. There's technically not an official U.S. title. Oh, no, well, there is the official U.S. title. There's the finale of the tournament. Any shenanigans can happen with that. What I described for that could happen beforehand. That could happen on SmackDown, where, as they get to the finals, Dolph shows up and says, well, screw you guys, I'm taking my title back. How do you like having your dreams stripped from you? Blah, blah, blah. But we have other matches. Neither woman is defending their title at the Rumble. Which makes sense because 2 Rumble matches are going to be at least an hour. A women's one will probably be shorter. And I hope they do this more often. I would love to see this carry over yearly, especially as they build up the women's roster. They had plenty of women in the Mae Young Classic they can bring in for one night. I like that the women are really on the same page with the guys now, for the most part. And heck, you have the Mixed Match Challenge starting up here this week, so awesome there. But I said earlier I have an announcement involving the Royal Rumble. Assuming my computer cooperates, my internet cooperates, and YouTube cooperates, I am going to do live reactions to the Royal Rumble. And I mean live, as in I'll download the codex and live stream on YouTube during the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm not going to show the actual pay-per-view on the YouTube stream. For the love of God, the WWE Network is free for 30 days and only $10 a month. Sign up for the 30 days if you're that desperate to watch the Royal Rumble and cancel. It's not a big deal. So no, I'm not going to risk getting my channel shut down and getting all sorts of legal issues by actually showing the matches. You will hear the audio in the background because I'm going to have the audio playing while I'm commenting. But I figured, hey, I'll do some live reactions, have some fun with the crowd. And, you know, so you're welcome to tune in during the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. There on the 28th, I will be going live at the start of the main show. So if there's a pre-match, pre-show, I probably won't be on during that point. I'll be getting everything ready. But come hang out with me. We can talk. We can definitely have a good time here. And again, this was my Royal Rumble 2018 prediction video. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. And again, in case you haven't heard, I always, and I mean always, have the last word. Peace out. Take it easy, everybody.
Stay